Do you only train billionaires and like fancy people?
I
Cambridge or Harvard?
Wow, that's a deep question. That's why I went back to school. That's why I went back to Cambridge. 谦虚使人进步，骄傲使人落后。没有中国就没有现在的 Tony。
Hello everyone, welcome back to JOYA'S channel. And today we have a superstar celebrity from Cambridge, Tony Nicholson. Hollywood celebrity to Cambridge EMBA alumni. Here we go, Tony Nicholson. Thank you for joining me today.
So first of all, thank you to you. Gratitude for people listening. So I'm Tony Nicholson. I'm just a very simple guy. I started off as a personal trainer, about 20 years in China. Graduated from Cambridge. I'm now doing my doctorate in business administration. I'm a big fan of your work and
Thank you.
just here to support someone who's championing education and being the best version of himself.
Thank you, Tony. So we're going to start with some quick questions. And the first one is morning workout or evening workout?
Both a morning workout and evening workout.
Cambridge or Hollywood?
100% Cambridge.
Cambridge or Harvard?
Wow, that's a deep question. Depending on how business is, because it's a fluid, different education system for different contexts.
Billionaire client versus US diplomat governor, which one is tougher to train?
Governor.
As someone like yourself who has multiple career paths, you are doing acting, you're doing coaching, and as well as a successful entrepreneur. Balancing with such a rigorous program here, like the EMBA program, with your career must have been very tough. Like, what's your secret to manage it all?
It's about accomplishment versus activity. So you got to know what you want, why you're doing it, and then make a plan for it.
Debate between learning through real life via experience versus learning from school. What's your thought on this, and which one do you think is better?
Excellent question. It's a combination of both. So learning at school is knowing about things, okay? And experience is walking the path. That's why I went back to school. That's why I went back to Cambridge.
We know that you have studied in China when you were 18, and then later on at Hanshan Normal University. Was there any cultural shock?
There was cultural shock when I went to China. And in China, my first teacher taught me 先苦后甜, different life. That was a massive shock. But what I learned is that the only way I could get out of it was learning.
And then we know that you are very into the Chinese culture. Can you tell us something about like why or how did you find Chinese culture very attractive and what attracts you?
And that's something when I went to China that I learned. First of all, the people, very humble, right? We're here now at Cambridge. I see so many people at Cambridge. You're a classic example. Not the healthiest times to be studying, but I have my Chinese friends all studying hard. People don't complain, they just get on with it. And I said, wow, what a humble, that's what I learned about China. But then when I started going deep, I was touched by so many philosophers that I can't even explain in English, but I just do it in Chinese. Mengzi, Guiguzi, Laozi, Kongzi, all of these people. But all of these things that I learned in Chinese have been fundamental to my growth here at Cambridge, Harvard, and in life. I learned about life in China. 没有中国就没有现在的 Tony.
Because I think in Chinese culture, resilience is a big part. Being humble, being more low-key, being resilient. I think that's a big part of the culture as well.
And in China, there's a great saying, which is 谦虚使人进步，骄傲使人落后.
And you've worked with some of the most influential people in the world, such as the former US governor and diplomat Gary Locke, and also billionaire entrepreneur like Tim Cook. And who else have you trained? Do you only train billionaires and like fancy people? Is there any memorable stories that you can share with us?
Honestly, I started from the very bottom, and it's like from the grassroots up. As a personal trainer, the best people to work with are the ones who like know who they are, they have values. So my highest value is love. I love what I do. One example is Gary Locke, who's a US ambassador. He was 63 years old. It's his first time exercising. I was so nervous to coach him. And I said, what's your training? What's one thing we can measure and manage? And it was the plank. So he started doing a plank. He got to a 1-minute plank. Eventually did a 51-minute plank, followed by 60 push-ups. Got on the cover of Men's Health.
I saw from your Instagram that you've worked out with The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, Ronaldo Cristiano. What was that like? Did you run into them just in the hotel, like just casually? Or like, did you guys like make a plan? Oh, let's go work out like tomorrow morning, something. What is that like?
Clarity is power. Proximity is power. I did not train them. Very clear on who you are and what you want. And then things will scale from there.
And also we know that you're the personal trainer for Tim Cook. I want to know how that is like.
I produced an app in China, and
Tony's 8 minutes.
and that's how I came across Tim Cook. So most people chase a celebrity. I said, what am I doing? I'm focused on health. One time we did a top grossing app. It came in the top of the charts. And then I made it free and started posting about it. And then I started working with Apple. And then one day I got a call and said, hey, Tim Cook's coming to Beijing. Could you bring some students to do a sesh? So I said, okay. And then from there, I started working with different founders.
You do look like our Dean. And then, like, you also, has anyone said that you look like The Rock, Dwayne Johnson? How do you feel about that?
First of all, it's a massive compliment to be at the business school. People come up to me and start discussing, things about what's my class, what's happening. I said, who do you think I am? Well, you're the dean. I said, I wish. I'm humbled by it, but I'm also not lost in the fact that I know who I am.
Because you made your own fitness app. What's some like efficient way that I could balance my study and also doing some workout to lose that freshman?
You've got to define what health is. A cell has, it needs nutrients, vitamins, minerals, oxygen, and water. Secondly, try and eliminate anything that's not healthy, sweets, chocolates, white breads. You can still have it sometimes.
My favorite is chocolate.
I saw your Instagram post. I saw the whole chocolate guy.
Do you have any guilty pleasure snacks that you cannot resist?
Yeah, I like burgers. I like pizza. Not all the time, but I love apple pie, ice cream.
The other day, in business school, we've talked about adding zeros to your business. You have a focus in arts and culture and creatives. What are some thoughts and suggestions on how a creative can monetize from their talent output?
And its key persons of influence is 5 things. The first thing is you've got to know your pitch. So what are you about? What have you published? What's your product? What's your promotion that you're doing? And what's your strategy? But most people jump to the first 2, have not set the foundation.
So I know there's a question that all of you guys actually do want to ask. So Tony was in the Wandering Earth #2. He was the bad guy in Wandering Earth. And he was also in 奔跑吧. So he's like very big on television. How is that life like?
So I'll start with the key point. First of all, know who you are and know what people cannot take away from you. So the first thing is to know who you are is a very hard thing. Education is important. So when I start on this journey, I'm about health and fitness. So when I got into, let's say, 奔跑, that changed my life because I realized I knew who I was when I got on that show because I only wanted to do pull-ups, push-ups, and squats. Fitness. I'm a fitness guy. From that, popularity rose. And then I realized if we're talking about movies, knowing who I was, like knowing who I am, is really important because you can get lost in the noise. I started to realize that I need to go back to school. I couldn't get that in the movie world. Film and everything, I'm very grateful. But all of that can be gone. All you have is who you are, your values, and your education. And people can't take that away from you.
So for the very last question, can you tell us one thing that's very exciting, or 2, or 3, that's upcoming in your journey, the next project you're on and about? Yeah.
So my next project is I'm doing a doctorate of business administration, learning about the importance of well-being and how that can be a strategic resource to help people, businesses, companies to make more decision, more performance.
Thank you so much, Tony, for joining us on a Wednesday night at St. John's. We're at St. John's right now.
So it's been a great joy being here for my brothers and sisters out there in the Middle East. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. 谢谢你，非常感谢你。
我们一起去吃饭吧。
吃饭吧。